Hey folks, I just wanted to take a minute here to be real with you. It's been really fun to take a stab at this new seasonal project for the After Credits podcast. The horror and mayhem, I tell you, it's so crazy. You'd think you'd have these guys in an institution by now, but I won't mask my purpose here. I feel that they've been killing it with these Halloween specials, and they want to keep that up. We can only do that if you head over to patreon.com/E-Vac Station and help us with our trick or treating. For less than the cost of a new locks for your doors to keep a deranged psychotic from breaking into your home, you can support our show. No price cuts, no tricks, all treats. Again, patreon.com/E-Vac Station. And on to the show.
You hear the beating of your heart, you know the screaming's gonna start. Here comes the really scary part, 'cause it's terror time again.
The clock has struck midnight. Again. Weird. Huh. But you know what that means. It's terror time. Again. Weird. I feel like I've done this before. Well, anyway, we'll be running this podcast all through the night from a terrifying sight. We are Ryan Metters.
Hello.
I am Aaron J. Waseska, and with us is our special guest, Robbie Nelson.
What's up, guys?
All the way from his own podcast. Robbie, how's it going over there?
Welcome to the Dog Pound is taken off, as you guys know, and I've had a really good time doing it, but I wouldn't have been able to do it without being featured on your guys' podcast first. So, my welcome to the Dog Pound listeners, always check these guys out. They know what they're doing, and they're awesome dudes. So, much love from the Dog Pound crew.
Aww.
Thank you very much. Any of our
We have a podcast friend. I love it.
And any of our listeners out there who have not had a chance to check out Welcome to the Dog Pound, please go and check that out. We'll be sure to put links in the description. When Robbie provides you with those, I'll put them in there, and we'll get you guys all squared away on that.
You bet.
So tonight, we have a special treat for y'all. It's Halloween, and so we're going to talk about Halloween. But before we get into that, guys, instead of doing what you're watching, we've been doing a fun topical question for every of our horror episodes. So guys, my question for you this week is, who or what is your favorite horror movie monster?
Oh, man.
Oh, that's good. Ooh, that's a tough question, man.
I am going to go up front here real quick and give my love and shout out to the Xenomorph from Alien. It is just such a perfect design, and it's just so iconic. Like, I cannot get that idea out of my head. The Xenomorph is absolute perfection for me.
This is a damn good pick.
Yeah, you can't go wrong there.
I'm trying to debate between my two favorites. Robbie, if you have yours, go first, because they're biting in my head right now.
So I have two, because I wanted to pick a classic movie monster, but since you said the Xenomorph from the Aliens franchise, Aaron, you know my love for the Predator, even though I haven't seen the new movie. I've heard nothing but bad things, but the original Predator is one of my favorite movies of all time. So, and just the sound he makes while he's doing his Predator thing, and it just gets me amped every time. And I think the design of Predator himself is just awesome. Like, how badass is that thing, right? So, secondly, classic movie monster. I've always been a Dracula guy. Vampires kind of got ruined in the 2000s here with all the sappy love stuff. I like the old school Dracula. Like, he's just prowling, ready to kill, get that blood, be the movie monster he is. And since, we're comic book guys, like Marvel even has Dracula as a comic book character that's a villain. So I've always appreciated that.
I like that a lot too. Did you ever see? There's a vampire movie that came out in like the later 2000s. It's called Daybreakers.
I never saw that, but
dude,
I
heard of it, but I
recommend
can't really
it.
remember it.
Highly recommend it. To give you a short summary, it is Willem Dafoe fighting vampires with muscle cars.
William Dafoe? No way. Dude, I'm sold.
You had me at Willem Dafoe, good sir.
Can I stream this anywhere? I'll pay money. I don't care. I gotta see this now.
I don't know if it's streamable, but I do have a DVD. If you ever get a chance to come over, man, I'll really borrow that shit. It is hype shit.
Oh man, I'll have to hit you up because I want to see that shit. Hardcore.
Oh, yeah. And if it helps, Sam Neill plays the head vampire bad guy.
Dude, are you kidding?
He's good. It's real good.
That sounds awesome. I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
Daybreakers. I'm writing that shit down right now.
I really got salty when that one came out too, because it was in theaters for like 2 weeks and then it was gone, and I never got to see it in theaters, so I had to wait like 6 months until it came out. And it finally came out, and I'm like, yes, this is so good.
I'm in.
I've watched it so many times.
Sounds awesome.
Holy shit! Yeah, no, okay. I'll be getting that after we're done recording.
Absolutely, I'm stoked
great time for October too.
Yeah, shit. I'm gonna do some research, see if it is streaming anywhere. But if not, Aaron, I'm gonna hit you up, man.
Absolutely. Ryan, what about your favorite movie monster?
So, so I'll keep mine short, but since our guest got to pick 2, I'm gonna stick with my 2. So I would say it's a toss-up between my boy in the sweater and the hat with the knives on his fingers, Freddy Krueger.
Freddy Krueger, that's my guy. Dreams.
Classic. And the other one that I grew up with, who was just so delightfully creepy and just really disturbing at the same time, I'm gonna go with Chucky because I love that shit.
Oh, dude, I've even watched Curse of Chucky and Cold of Chucky on. They're straight to video. I love Chucky, man.
So I think one of those is on Netflix right now.
Yeah, it's terrible, but it's awesome at the same time. And
to answer your question, Rob, I did a cursory Google search. Daybreakers is available on Hulu.
Oh, I have Hulu. Nice. I'm in.
So all you folks out there, if you really want to check out Daybreakers, that brief little pimping out I did for it, go check it out. It's on Hulu. It's fantastic.
I can't wait. I'm really jacked for watching this.
Yeah, I'll be honest, Ryan. I've never actually seen the Krueger or the Chucky movies. I feel bad about that, but they are definitely on my list to check out one of these times.
Nightmare? You haven't seen any Nightmare on Elm Street?
Are you serious?
Play. Really?
So Chucky in particular always looked kind of goofy, so I'm like, I don't want to watch that. Friday the 13th, I just never got around to seeing it. It never was ever around in my house. And all that shit. It's one of my, I want to see it because the idea of Freddy Krueger is similar to, Scarecrow or Mysterio. The whole, using people's fears to get with them and then get in their heads and fuck with them, except he literally murders them.
Dude, Freddy Krueger, later on, Ryan, you can back me up on this, the first couple they were trying to actually be scary. After that, he was just basically a cartoon character, and it was awesome.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. If you want to be actually scared, watch the early ones.
Yeah.
Then it starts getting campy and more fun. But it's still Robert Englund still maintains that terror throughout the whole thing. My favorite of the Freddy Krueger movies is actually the second to last one they did, called New Nightmare, where it takes place in the 90s and it's set in real life, where the actors who actually did the Freddy Krueger movies are starting to get haunted by the manifestation of Freddy Krueger that they've created from the movies. It's too good.
Dude, Wes Craven actually made that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wes Craven made that shit.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I'm totally on board. Ryan, we're on the same page.
If it makes you feel better, guys, my second favorite Halloween episode of Simpsons has the groundskeeper Willie as Freddy Krueger bit. So that's
a good one too. That's a good one.
It's not the.
Well, then you've already seen the movie.
It's not the Shinin, but it's close. It's real close.
The Shinins are a good one too. Dang. Man, we would have to do a podcast on just Halloween Simpsons episodes. Oh man, that takes me back.
Oh, now that's
if you can fit that in, I'm in. So sometime.
I'll definitely have to make some room for that one. That sounds like a fun idea.
Just some Treehouse of Horror.
Treehouse of Horror, man.
A Treehouse of Horror like stream. Oh my god.
Yeah, I think they had like a 14-hour marathon on FXX like just this past weekend for the new episode. So.
Yeah, and if you sign into the app, you can watch any one you want to. So that's my favorite part of the FX app.
Nice. I'll have to look into that one because I'm the Simpsons nut, so I'll definitely do that. I've collected the DVDs, but I don't have any way to stream it all, and that's legal.
Yeah,
so I want to be able to have that option.
That's the legal way to do it. They have like Simpsons World or whatever, and you can literally pick any episode you ever want as long as you have a TV sign on. I mean, I do it all the time. Station makes fun of me. She doesn't love Simpsons as much as I do.
That's
which is a shame. I know.
Well, before we get too derailed or anything, we have a movie to discuss tonight, gentlemen. Tonight we're discussing Halloween. I'm going to leave it there for now. Let's discuss our initial thoughts on Halloween. Gentlemen, what do y'all think?
Well, I mean, I loved how it captured that late 90s, like early 2000, like real teen bop-esque feel while still doing Michael Myers. I thought it was a lovely homage to the past.
Robbie, what do you think? You know, the movie I saw was definitely like a mid-2000s type of movie. Definitely featuring Laurie Strode as definitely the sister of Michael Myers. Just a great slasher flick featuring a washed-up wrestler as Michael Myers. I just loved it. It was a great slasher movie.
Interesting.
What?
Well, I think you guys are on the money a little bit. I think it's an absolute classic. Pioneer of horror films, clever lighting, great cinematography, and all that tight budget. You just can't beat that shit, man. Tight budget's where it's at. Alright, and with that, it's time for the final film of frights for this terror time, and it is the Halloween classic, Halloween. Released in 1978 and directed by John Carpenter, it has made a total of...
Budget?
Yeah.
What the hell are you talking about, budget? I think you've been losing your mind with these horror movies.
Yeah,
Aaron.
Yeah, man, that sounds off. Like John Carpenter only helped write it. He didn't direct this. Also, you talking about the 70s? You sure you're reading that right?
That's what my notes say, guys. It's featuring Donald Pleasance, Jamie Lee Curtis, and...
Whoa, hold on. Jamie Lee Curtis is right, but Donald who? I mean, why is he getting mentioned over Michelle Williams, or Joseph Gordon-Levitt, or my guy LL Cool J?
Whoa. LL Cool J? Mama Said Knock You Out? Are you kidding me? That sounds made up. Not even a real movie. What about my boy Malcolm McDowell, or Scott Taylor Compton, or my man Big Sky?
What? Who?
The dude I was talking about earlier, Tyler Mane. He was also on X-Men. He was Sabretooth.
Wait, hold on. So a wrestler in Halloween is more realistic than LL Cool J?
Yeah.
Yes.
Wait, okay, so did we all watch the wrong movies?
Okay, guys. I think I know what's going on here. Something is disrupting the flow of time here at E-Vac Station. We have multiple timelines converging. I think we need to sort this out right now and fix this.
All right, so how do we figure this out?
Well, what movie did each of you watch? The one I watched had Michael Myers breaking out of an institution and almost kill babysitter Laurie Strode.
Well, that's the same as mine. How gory was yours?
Generous amounts of gore and violence. It's what you get for putting a wrestler in the Michael Myers mask.
Well, okay, so Laurie Strode was in my movie too, but she wasn't a babysitter. She was the dean of a private school.
Yeah, that's the same difference.
Ryan, what the fuck movie did you watch?
Wait, hold on. It says Halloween.
Really?
Well, it says something about 20 years later in the byline, but I think it's from the future.
Are you talking about H2O? That movie is terrible.
Yeah, but it's one of the timelines, though. It was released to restart the franchise and remove some bad sequels from the canon. Also making other bad sequels.
No, wait. So you mean to tell me that I wasted a night reliving my early childhood and, like, revisiting 8-year-old Ryan watching this movie?
Dude, it was like 90 minutes. It's not a big deal.
And Robbie, you said you watched a gorier version of Halloween with the pro wrestler as Michael Myers?
Yeah, it was directed by Rob Zombie. It was awesome.
I believe it's the third timeline, made to ignore all the previous timelines. It just fizzled out after the sequel.
Oh, that's right. Weird Mayan League bullshit or something like that.
Alright, how do we fix this? This is getting fucking stupid.
Agreed. This joke has gone on long enough. If we've learned anything about timey-wimey bullshit, we need to say the magic word that'll fix it.
Oh, wait, you don't mean...
I think I do, Ryan. Okay, guys, you ready? On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Cagliostro!
So, guys, did we do it?
I think so. Aaron, what's the movie we're supposed to be watching?
I don't know how to break it to you guys, but it's still Halloween.
Fuck me! I thought we fixed it!
Gentlemen, it appears we've created a fourth timeline. This shit's getting more complicated than Legend of Zelda.
What are you talking about?
It's Halloween from 2018. Now that we have that confusion out of the way, let's talk about 2018's Halloween, directed by David Gordon Green, stars Nick Castle, Will Patton, Halleck Billinger, Bilginer, Toby
Close
Huss,
enough.
Andy Matichik, Judy Greer, and the Scream Queen herself, Jamie Lee Curtis. At the box office this past weekend, it made a total of, and I didn't fill this number in, give me 1 minute to check out Box Office Mojo while I am currently talking and vamping at the same time, guys. Don't worry about me. According to my list here, it's currently sitting at 4... that's what it made today. Shit. It's currently sitting at a total of worldwide, $96,734,252 worldwide. For one weekend, that's pretty impressive.
All right.
Let's see, what else here? No awards or accolades at the time, because it only just came out, like, literally this past weekend. But I do have some fun facts for you. And by me, I mean you guys. Robbie, what's our first fun fact? Oh, Ryan. I got the colors mixed up.
That's okay.
Well, Jamie Lee Curtis, who portrays Laurie Strode, has been in 5 films. There's Halloween from 1978, Halloween 2 in 1981, Halloween H2O 20 years later in 1998, Halloween and Halloween Resurrection in 2002, and also in this film. She also was the voice of Santa Mira, the Santa Mira curfew officer and telephone operator in Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, 1982, but went uncredited.
All right. At 70 years old, Nick Castle is the oldest actor to play the character of Michael Myers. He's the third actor to also play him more than once, behind George P. Wilbur, who played him in Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers, and Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers, and my boy Tyler Mane in Halloween, that was in 2007, and Halloween 2 in 2009.
And to wrap things up, John Carpenter claims this will be the last Halloween film, even though there are contractual obligations for a sequel, and screenwriters are already considering one. Fantastic.
Oh my God. I swear, Hollywood really needs to learn to let things die. I swear.
I mean, we're talking about a man who has not yet to die in any of his own movies, so it's a tough one right there, buddy. That's a tough one.
Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, with all those shenanigans out of the way, I have a synopsis for you. Are you ready for this shit?
Absolutely.
I am very ready for this shit.
All right, here we go. A new timeline has emerged in the Halloween universe, and we're back in Haddonfield 40 years after the events of 1978. None of that other shit happened, boys. Just you relax. The babysitter we're talking about the babysitting killings, of course, from 78. Michael Myers has been locked away and hasn't spoken in that entire time, and Laurie Strode has locked herself away in a home full of guns, traps, and extreme paranoia stemming from the trauma. So much so that her family is taken away from her years ago, and she's essentially lived and isolated from the world. A pair of investigators arrive to discuss with Michael and Laurie separately With permission from Michael's new doctor, Dr. Scratch and Sniff, Dr. Loomis is a student and friend. But their investigation gets them nowhere, and Michael seems unable to talk, and Laurie very unwilling. Why? Michael is transferring to another facility to be locked away for the rest of his days. By the way, how did he get captured after the events of the original Halloween? It just made it seem like he just vanished at the end. Whatever.
Don't worry about it. We got it in post.
Dr. Scratch and Sniff goes with him to make the transfer process seamless, or so we think. During the transport, the bus has an accident, and Michael escapes into the real world. Again. Laurie and the authorities find out about this fairly quick. Laurie goes into lockdown panic mode and tries to gather her family back at her super bunker panic room. The cops, led by Officer Hawkins, work to locate and bring down Myers for good. All the while, Michael makes his way back to Haddonfield, as he always does, leaving a trail of dead bodies in his wake. He reclaims his mask and begins to purge the world of babysitters and people who are just in his way, on a way to one house at the time on Halloween night. His path leads him to run into Laurie's granddaughter, who has been impossible to get a hold of. Those Generation Z kids and their inability to answer a fucking phone call, I swear.
All of them have phones, but none of them want to answer it. Goddamn.
Well, I mean, they're probably eating Tide Pods, some other general comment that baby boomers love to point out. Anyway, but she does find the cops, and she does manage to secure transport back to her family. Only, well, in a surprise twist, Dr. Scratch and Sniff betrays them, stabbing Officer Hawkins while Myers is down and bringing Myers directly to Laurie's Fortress of Doom. Why? Because he wants to see what happens, and he's lost his fucking mind. Myers regains consciousness upon arrival, kills Dr. Scratch and Sniff and a pair of cops on patrol before the final home invasion can begin. I won't spoil the best moments here in the final encounter. I mean, come on, guys, let's leave a little bit to your imagination. But to sum it up, Myers breaks into the Laurie's Batcave and smashes through her traps. She pulls all the steps to take him down. The family band together for one final assault and trap him, leaving Myers for dead. The family leaves with Myers presumably burning in the fire that consumes Laurie's cabin in the woods. The camera ends showing Myers having disappeared from the camera's gaze, but possibly not the hellfire. Then cutting to the three generations of Strode ladies in the car, with the camera slowly panning and zooming to the butcher knife in young Allison's hand. John Carpenter's brilliant score taking us to the fade and the credits.
Oh, man.
So, guys, what did you all think of this actual movie this time?
Robbie, you're the guest. Please go first. I have words.
Well, I'm sure we'll discuss the ending in detail, but as for the movie overall, I enjoyed it because I like slasher movies and that sort of thing, and the moment that he escaped and met up with the podcasters, which is kind of funny since we're on a podcast, and kicked the shit out of him and killed him in the bathroom. And we put on that mask, you knew it was on, man. That was awesome. That was an awesome moment. And there was a lot of callbacks in the movie to the original, which I thought was really cool. Looking out of the school, and instead of, the granddaughter seeing Michael, or excuse me, instead of the granddaughter saw Laurie, but it would have been Michael in the original.
Calls back to when Laurie saw Michael. Yep.
You know what I'm saying. I'm sorry. I'm just kind of stumbling over my words. But I thought that was cool. Calling back to the original, since this is kind of like a follow up to it, and we're ignoring all the other shit that we talked about earlier. So, but I just thought it was a really good slasher movie. Some of it was kind of out there, Dr. Scratch and Sniff. I don't even remember what his real name was, but him just going off the deep end and stabbing the sheriff, when they hit Michael with the car, that was I was just what is going on?
What's funny is when that scene happened, I turned to Amanda in the theater. I'm like, okay, so watch that guy just be in a Michael Myers costume and not actually be Michael Myers. That'd be hilarious. Yeah. I was so disappointed when that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I'm horrible, but wouldn't it have been great though if it had been oh, this is not really Michael Myers, where is he? And then the real Michael Myers comes from behind the car and stabs him or something. It would have been great.
Oh, I think that would have been better. Honestly. But just, watching Michael, go through on his rampage and just sneaking into houses and just like the tension was there, and then you had the score behind it, the dun 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 dun, dun like I love that music. That's like one of my favorite parts of this whole series is that specific score, so I
Dude,
just,
the remix is really good too.
yeah, and that part was cool. So I will let Ryan go, and I'm sure we'll discuss the ending in more detail. But Ryan, what are your thoughts, bud?
I had a fucking blast with this movie. I had a blast. A couple of podcasts ago, I mentioned that in movies I try to be quiet so that I don't fuck with anybody else's viewing of the movie. I didn't really have to worry about that here because everybody was like, "Fuck! Don't go in there! Oh my god, kid! Why are you getting out of the car?" But the kid took the gun. He was so smart. I loved him.
Oh, that kid
I was so
cool.
sad when he died.
I thought the other kids were going to die in this movie too after him, and I'm surprised they didn't. It was really weird.
I was just like, damn, they really went there and showed him kill that child.
Yeah,
okay, that's what
bashing his head
we're on
on
today, movie.
Yeah.
But no, I had a blast. I think the best part of this movie was how amazing they were at ratcheting up the tension outside of just like normal violence, because you had all of these scenes where it wasn't Michael murdering people brutally, but it was just this aura of unrestrained, like, malice that was palpable even as he said nothing. Like, you start with the scene of him in the prison and these dickhead podcasters showing the mask to him, and he's not moving, but everybody else around him is starting to freak out, and you could tell there's like this invisible force that he is exuding that everybody else can feel, but these guys are fucking oblivious to the danger that they're in. I love that they did that.
Yeah.
To borrow a phrase from our anime podcast, Ryan, you could feel the killing intent from that man.
Yes,
for sure.
It was sheer killing intent, and it was perfect. When he finally put the mask on, that was a really well done scene. It came off the heels of like him brutally murdering the podcasters, but that feeling of just him slipping on the mantle, slipping on his face,
exactly,
and like really becoming who he was again. It like. There's a bunch of other stuff in this movie, and they do really good work with rationing tensions, especially with all the fucking mannequins. Laurie, why would you keep all them mannequins? It's fucking terrifying. But I want to say that's the big stuff that stood out to me. The tension that was separate from the violence.
I'll add to that as well. I really loved how respectful this was to the franchise in that it was a perfect sequel to the original. I don't think it's better than the original, but I have reasons we'll get into that later. But I do really like this, probably above any other sequel we've seen or reboot or anything. It's very respectful. Yeah. It brings a lot of callbacks. My favorite callback of all of them, and you guys are gonna may roll your eyes at this one. The masks you see on the kids wandering around for trick or treating are the same masks from Halloween 3, and I'm one of the apologists for that movie. It's so good. But you see the little skulls, the goblins, and the pumpkins from that movie, and it was like, oh man, you guys brought that back. That's great.
Yeah, I didn't notice that on the first or when I watched it. I was reading like a recap afterwards, and they mentioned it. I was like, damn, I missed that. Like, I wish I would have noticed it.
It's a blink and you'll miss it.
Yeah.
You know, I think actually this is a good moment to just take a brief aside and talk about that, because I have not seen the original Halloween movie. I don't think ever. If I have seen it, it was when I was super duper duper young. And I think one of the reasons that this acts as a very excellent sequel, like probably one of the best sequels I've ever seen, is because even separate from that, it still stands on its own. Because I watched it like knowing pretty much about like the Halloween franchise and knowing like the gist of the setup going into it, but all of the call outs and all of the callbacks to the original movies and the precursor movies, they were embedded so subtly that you weren't felt like you were getting hit over the head with them if you didn't know it. But for the people that did know it, it was a really awesome callback. So it really threads that needle really well, I think.
Absolutely. Actually, we'll talk about it real quick. So I went on Thursday, the premiere night for the film.
Wow.
Well, our weekend with this past week was pretty crazy. We had a trip to Sioux City, Iowa for a wedding, and we didn't have phone service out there for the whole time. That's a whole story I can get into, but I'm not going to right now. No, we were at a wedding for the weekend, so we had to see it right before then, to make it in time for this. So we went to premiere night on Thursday, and it was also Amanda's birthday, so it worked out really well. She wanted to see it too. Dude, the crowd in that theater. So I haven't been to a premiere for a movie in a while. I think the last one might have been maybe Iron Man 3 or Thor Dark World. It's been such a long time.
Wow.
I know. But it's been a while, so I kind of forgot this. But when you go to a premiere crowd for a movie that has such a big, like, rabid fan base, the energy and excitement in that room and the cheers, clapping, and the crying you can get for every awesome moment, it is spectacular. Like, I get that it's a pain in the ass to go to those sometimes, especially for the bigger ones like Avengers or Star Wars, where it's like everyone is there. But for something like this, it was small enough where you could get in pretty easily. And just every time something awesome happened, there was like a standing ovation. Everyone was so excited. All the Halloween shirts and memorabilia were out. It was such a good time, man. Like, just if anyone who listened was at that premiere, was at a premiere crowd, hit us up. Like, leave a comment down below, because I love to hear your experiences. I just love those crowds so much. It's one of the best reasons to go for a premiere night if you can.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. I went on Friday, and I went to a smaller theater that's right, like, it's literally smack dab in the middle of a college in Chicago. So I went to that one. So we got a lot of the locals and a lot of the college kids. But yeah, I mean, the excitement was it was huge. We were seeing a movie that pretty much no one else had seen as of yet. It's just coming out, and I think everybody was definitely keyed up more because of that. So yeah.
I have a little different experience. I didn't see it until yesterday, actually. So I had planned on seeing it on Saturday. So, but I mean, it was still a good type of crowd, but it probably wasn't the same as Thursday for what you saw, Aaron.
Oh no. But yeah, the only other time I can clearly remember being in a premiere crowd was the Avengers movie. We saw it, my roommate and I saw it that night. We had the shittiest seats in the theater. We were like in the front row, like in the far corner.
That's the worst.
So that's why you got to get there like 45 minutes early.
Oh, I told him that, and that fucker was like, "Now we're fine." I'm like, "Fuck you. We're not gonna get a good seat, piece of shit."
Man.
But luckily, our other roommate hadn't seen it, so we went literally the next day to watch it again.
I think the last premiere I went to was actually, no, it wasn't. Was it The Last Jedi? No. It was The Force Awakens. I went the night of to The Force Awakens.
I can see that.
That was big. That was a big reaction.
You guys are gonna make fun of me. The last one I went to, Batman vs Superman.
Ooh.
Robbie, why?
Well,
why?
You know why. You know my love of Batman, and that was dumb. Damn it.
Well, I mean, if you went with the premiere crowd, you at least had a good time, I imagine.
Yeah, no, it was fine. I was just very sad afterwards.
You know what? I won't make fun of you because I remember the lead up to that. We still had hope.
Yeah.
That
we didn't know.
would pull it together.
Yeah.
We had hope that they would actually come out the box with this one. And so, yeah, no. I won't knock you for going day of to see if they would live up to the promise.
I was really excited, as a Batman guy. I finally got a new take on Batman. I just wish it was better. So that's okay.
Yeah.
I should clarify. We on this podcast don't hate DC entirely, but the movies that have been coming out, we'll have words for those here in when do we have those scheduled for? March, I think. We'll have words for those. Just y'all wait. All right, boys. Well, I have some discussion questions for you, and hopefully we can roll through some of these here for you if you guys are interested.
Yeah.
I love these.
All right. So this first one I got here, the original film of the Halloween franchise was partially inspired by the Manson family murders, like with the early home invasions of the 70s and 80s. So my question for you guys is this: knowing that, what do you think inspired the events of this film, or does this build off the themes of that first movie? You think?
I honestly, I think, like, me personally for this movie is that they were trying to focus on how you deal with like a traumatic experience. So you gotta see Laurie, be paranoid for 40 years waiting for Michael. You gotta see Michael basically just waiting to get out. But you also gotta see the daughter and the granddaughter having to deal with their mother or grandmother being the person she was, and seeing the moment finally come and them, come together. And it was kind of like a empowering moment to take over something that's haunted Laurie Strode for 40 years is kind of how I took it. Just to kind of build off of the original movie. I don't know if there was a specific theme, but that's kind of what I took from it.
I think you're on the money a little bit. Ryan, do you have anything to say before I throw my 2 cents in?
Well, I think I definitely agree with Robbie's assessment. I love that the crux of this movie is focused on not only Laurie's paranoia, but the effect that it has on her family and like how that actually plays out. I think in regards to like its relation to like the Manson family murders, I think a lot for a lot of people, those times are so far removed that nobody thinks of the really horrible, awful shit that can happen in this life. And I think that reality is what was portrayed in the movie, because you have this family with this teenage daughter, and they're just living a great life, and nothing's going wrong with them whatsoever. They have a perfectly mundane and happy, normal life. And grandma is living out in the fucking woods because she's the only one who's keeping that paranoia alive.
Yeah.
And I think it speaks to how the majority of us don't really consider that shit to be real anymore, or it's so far removed that it might as well not even be considered. But every now and again, it's good to have a reminder that horrible shit can go down. And while you still want to live your life, it's really good to be prepared for that.
I agree. My 2 cents real quick is I think I'm going to line up with Robbie a little bit, but add to it. So I do think this movie is definitely focused on the trauma aspect of things, but I'm going to take it a step further. And it's going to get a little political, so if anyone has an argument with me about it, just give me just a minute here. But in the recent few years, since we've had a new president, I'm not going to mention names here, we all know who it is, and with all of the various outings of sexual assaults and with the Me Too movement, I think it's kind of hitting on similar notes to that. I think it's trying to show how long-term trauma of any kind of nature, in this case it'd be, a guy coming in and trying to murder you and the kids you're watching, how it affects you, how it affects different people as it's happening, how the world reacts to you expressing that trauma. Because in the movie, everyone is dismissive of Laurie. It's like, it happened years ago, get over it. It never really happened. There's all these different rumors about it, and it just kind of fantasizes it. But it did happen. We all saw it in 78, and she knows it happened, Michael knows it happened, and that's all there is. It's just like, for a lack of a better term, what happened with Bill Cosby. What he did, he knows it happened. The people who he did it to knows it happened. And that's the only story we got. The he said, she said thing. And we have all those other people adding more to it, fantasizing it. But the fact is, something still happened. There's still trauma that happened. and people are addressing it in all sorts of weird ways. And I think in this case, it kind of reflects a lot of that. Maybe not that specific case with Bill Cosby, but just trauma you see within the world in general. And I think this is a good portrayal of that.
Yeah.
I like that. Too.
Yeah. Laurie couldn't move on, and she needed the closure of, we basically saw it, how the movie played out. Like, I need to kill him. Is basically what she was saying. And she needed that to be able to move on. But unfortunately, she had to wait for 40 years, and it hurt her family life and everything. And it's just how she had to deal with it. And we got to kind of see it from not only an audience perspective, but like her family's perspective, which I thought was interesting.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
My next question here. So clearly, the Doctor, who actually is named Dr. Sartain, shares the same philosophy as John Hammond. How can we stand the light of discovery and not act?
This fucking Michael Myers groupie. I loved him. Oh my god.
I loved his voice.
He was really well portrayed. I gotta give him props for just being an all-around good guy in this movie, in terms of character, I should say. Do you think there's anything?
He was batshit crazy, but yeah.
Do you think there's anything Sartain could have actually learned from Myers, or was his act to free Myers completely wasted? And do you think he is partly responsible for the bus crashing? I certainly think he is.
He's 100% responsible for the bus crashing, because that was the only reason he was still alive, I think. But I think he hid. He knew what was going to happen. But I guess what I'm trying to say is that he was so obsessed with Michael, he just wanted to see something. He basically saw this guy for the last 30, 40 years not ever say anything, and he got to the end of his rope and he's like, I just want to know. And like when he got killed by him, he even says, say something. So I think he just wanted to see anything.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it was a mixture of curiosity and frustration, because Michael was his life's work. And, he took the baton from Dr. Loomis, who died of it. And, I think he wanted some closure of his own, but it was definitely less self-destructive for him than it was for Laurie, and more just, I really don't care who dies, I just really want to see something new. I want to actually understand this guy. So he was so fucked up. I absolutely loved the twist. I loved that twist.
It was something I definitely didn't expect. I'm glad they did something to shake it up. Definitely worth doing. Speaking of guys getting stabbed in the neck with a pen, how do you feel about the violent, gory kills in this film versus the violent, gory kills in the 2007 remake, or the subtle, near bloodless kills of the original film?
Man. I watched the man's head get squashed. That was fucked up.
Yeah, that was intense, but I don't know, 2007 was pretty gory too. I just think in this day and age that's what you're gonna see, and in the 70s you wouldn't. But I almost appreciate the 1978 version more, because
absolutely.
Yeah, because you didn't see any of that. So any time it can be left up to your imagination, I think is even worse. Or not worse, but you know what I mean, scarier, or
it lets you fill in the gaps with something that even scarier than what the people making the film.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I thought they did a good job. Although I did not see the head stomp coming. That I was like, whoa.
Actually,
go ahead.
Oh
yeah, I'm sorry.
What I was going to add real quick is that so I love the subtlety of the older films, and like you mentioned, I will say though we watched that one for the podcast over here, and there is one moment where Michael's in the backseat of a car and he slashes the throat of the girl in the front. I forget her name. One of the other babysitters, one of Laurie's friends. And it's a really good scene. It's made me check the backseat of my car ever since I've seen that. Whenever I go in, and the one thing that always stood out to me, though, is the look on her face when she, falls over dead. It looks so bad. Everything in the film is great, but just some of the death faces are so hilariously stupid. I get it. It's 1978. I get it.
Yeah.
Acting's not what it is today, but goddamn, it was just so hilariously goofy looking.
I personally appreciate that Halloween is a franchise that can do both. It can actually wear both hats. It can do the subtle, spooky, like tense killing, and then shift gears on a dime to head stomping. I think that this movie in particular does a lot with playing both sides of those, where
Absolutely.
Michael's movements will be really, really subtle, and the approach will be like amazingly subtle and terrifying, and they'll even stretch out the point where you know he's coming out, and they just withhold it for a while until he comes out and beats your head against the wall and just leaves you bleeding from your face. That was really fucked up. So yeah, I like the way that it can actually do both, and I think this movie sets out to showcase both sides of Michael Myers' brutality. Yeah.
Carrying over from that, some other changes. We can talk about other changes too, real quick, as to what worked and what didn't from the original versus this, and so on. One thing I noticed from the original that this film didn't do quite as well. I'm not trying to make it a bad thing about this film, but the first film's a masterpiece at this particular thing. In the first film, Michael Myers could literally be anywhere on the screen, and you wouldn't necessarily know he's there. He'd be on the edges, he'd be hiding behind things, he'd be driving by in a car in the background, you wouldn't know.
Yeah.
And it's just such a subtle, creepy thing. It really kind of sells the whole stalker, killer, home invasion vibe.
He was standing in the shadows a lot in that original.
So good.
Yeah, it was
so
awesome.
good.
Yeah.
And I love this new one. It's really good, but I really wish there had been a little bit more of him just skulking in shadows. It didn't have to be like you draw your attention to it, but just I wanted to be. I looked all over the screen in like long shots where nothing was happening. I'm like, okay, where is he? He's got to be somewhere around here. I was always disappointed he wasn't in them, and I'm like, man, you guys had a moment just to sneak him in there. We didn't have to. He didn't have to do anything. Just sneak him in there. It'd be great.
Yeah. I did want to ask one thing, kind of while we're on this topic. Why is it every slasher, so Jason, Michael Myers, are so fast walking on foot, but everybody else is sprinting? Like, what's the physics behind that? I've always wondered. Like, do they like time travel, or how are they so fast just walking?
Well,
now I'm just imagining Michael walking around muttering Cagliostro to himself.
It just he skips ahead in time. You know what I mean? Like, I swear to God,
Well,
every Friday the 13th or this type of movie is just like he's just stumbling around and he still catches up to everybody that's sprinting. It wasn't as bad in this movie, but some of these it was so bad. Like, I'm sure in your H2O that you had to stumble through there, Ryan. He had a couple moments like that.
Yeah, no, he popped out of a couple of places, just like how the fuck did you get up there? No, seriously, how were you there?
Well,
although I had that moment when he was in that kid's closet, like
yeah, exactly.
I'm like, there's no way he's in there. They're playing it up.
Yeah.
He's like, they're gonna open it. There's gonna be nobody there. He's gonna walk in while they're looking at the closet. It's gonna be over. But when he actually was in the closet, I lost my shit. I was like, how are you there?
Exactly.
How the fuck did you get there, Mike? What are you doing?
well, so if we go off video game logic real quick, I'm going to throw this out there. Have either of you played Dead by Daylight or what's the other one? The Friday the 13th video game?
No, I have not.
So in the Friday the 13th video game, it's very interesting. So when you're playing Jason, he teleports all over the place to catch up with the other players and everything. They write it off as he's not really like warping time, but it's like the game takes on like a video cassette kind of thing where suddenly everything fast forwards, like the tapes here getting distorted, and that's a sign to every player that he is teleporting in game somewhere.
Wow!
It's a really cool effect.
That's a pretty cool design. That's a clever design right there.
Interesting.
And then in Dead by Daylight, I don't think there's any. There is like faster movement, like a dash kind of thing. Every monster can do, but I think some of them are better at it than others. I haven't played that one enough to know, but I think just the general idea is that in the case of Michael Myers in particular, I think it's largely just that it's his home town, his home neighborhood. He grew up there,
Yeah.
I think the logic you're supposed to follow with that is he knows all these different ins and outs, and
he knows the secret routes, and a lot of people they'll run and stop.
They do.
Yeah,
they do.
true. That's true.
He does not stop moving. Like he is inexorable.
And
he knows exactly the quickest way to get to you.
Yeah.
Exactly the way to get to you unseen.
And
that's how I read it.
He's really tall, so he can take really big steps. I get it. It's just it's really stretching my realistic take on it. So I'm just trying to be dumbass, but I just it's always something I've thought about when I watch these movies because I'm just like, this is ridiculous.
Like this 7 foot tall 70-year-old man is catching up to these kids in the prime of their lives. No, I got you.
Yeah.
I definitely
and he gets shot like 15 times and hit by a car. But hey, it is what it is.
It's fine. That man's unkillable.
I'm more surprised the guy of that size could get around without making any noises.
Yeah.
Yeah, with them big ass boots, he's really quiet. Those boots are sturdy enough to crush a man's skull.
Yeah.
Yet he's tiptoeing around. Yeah, no, I got
yeah, like when he's hiding in the closet, you'd hear those boots for sure, right?
Well, clearly he went to the Jurassic Park school of sneaking around, because the T-Rex sneaks around so much in that movie, and you never know where he's at.
As long as he doesn't have fucking active camouflage, that's still bullshit. I still call bullshit on that.
Okay. Next question I got here for you. So this is a pretty good one. Do you think Laurie earned her place next to Ellen Ripley and Sarah Connor as a badass woman in film? And do you feel this was a fitting end to Laurie's story?
Man.
I
could watch Jamie Lee Curtis on a fucking firing range all day. That was real good stuff.
That was pretty badass. Yeah. I'll jump in here, Ryan. Like, I do. I think she's one of the most badass women of film, especially after this movie. But what bothered me, and I know it's just movie logic or whatever, but like, you know, you set up this elaborate trap for Michael, and you know you're gonna burn him in the house or whatever. And you're standing over him while he's burning, and you don't shoot him in the fucking head? Are you kidding me? You're standing right there. I know. I shouldn't dwell on that, but I was like, God damn
I think she honestly just wanted to see him burn.
Yeah.
Plus, bullets have not worked that great.
That is true. That is true.
That's fair.
But you're point blank with the shotgun. I don't know. It is what it is. But
I feel like she's taking a page from Goku. She wants to fight him on fair ground.
She wants to get her hands dirty. I mean, she did a badass job though. Like, you know, when he got into the house and she was in the, you know, going room to room and they
locking each room down.
That
really systematic.
that was pretty badass. And like, I appreciate, you know, all the stuff she put into that, and even being like, you know, telling her daughter like, you know, you always thought this was a cage for me, and it was just calling to this is actually a cage for him, and she had that set up the whole time. I mean, that's pretty badass. I gotta give her that. What do you think, Ryan?
Yeah, I was like, I love Laurie Strode in this movie. I do. I don't know if she's gonna be as iconic, in my eyes at least, as like fucking Sarah Connor. But I think this one was a fantastic addition to that legacy of badass women taking on the killers that fucked up their lives. I loved her going systematic from room to room.
I was awesome.
I was still really mad at her. I'm like, girl, please do not 1v1 Michael Myers. This is not gonna go well. This is really not gonna go well. And it didn't. And then she got thrown out of a window. But
that part was badass, though.
I gotta say, one of my favorite parts of that ending sequence was Michael throws her out the window, hears the granddaughter come back in, looks back out, and she pulled a fucking Michael Myers and disappeared.
Exactly. How sweet was that, man? I was like, oh, she got him good.
She's like, "Oh, I picked up a few tricks from you, dude. I know how to do that." Poof, gone. I'm like, "Oh shit."
So good.
Oh yeah.
I'll say as much. I feel like it's definitely a good end to Laurie's story. I hope they retire her character. I think that Jamie Lee Curtis has earned a good long break to do whatever the hell she wants now.
Honestly, this should be the end of the series, guys. I know it's Hollywood. I know it's not gonna be.
It's not gonna be, but it should. You're right.
This would be a really fitting end. If they cut it off right here, this will be a fantastic way to end it.
Well, I wanted to ask you guys. Did you what was it called? So did you guys know the story behind H2O and Halloween Resurrection by chance? Because there's actually a fascinating story with Jamie Lee Curtis involving that.
I don't know the story regarding her.
So they asked her to come in for H2O under the guise it'd be the final Halloween film.
I think I heard that. Yeah,
because she didn't want to come back, but she made a contract stipulation saying, "I'll only come back if it's the last one. I want to end this and end it right." And
it's
so, like,
20 years. Yeah, of course it's going to be the last one. What do you think? We're going to do it in 40 years?
Well, so what happened is they did it, and then without her knowing, after the main shooting was done, they reshot the ending to have the guy who dies at the end be a was it like a security guard or a cop in disguise instead of Michael Myers, and he escapes. And when Jamie Lee Curtis found out, she was pretty furious. And the story goes, from what I was reading, that they had apparently put some fine print or reneged on the contract in a way that they could do legally, and they had to have her come in for one more. So she, very furiously, I'm sure she probably lawyered up to make it happen, said that the next one, Resurrection, was going to be the final thing, and she insisted that she be killed to be done with it all. And sure enough, she dies in a mental institution in the first, 5-10 minutes.
Is that the one with Busta Rhymes?
Yes.
That one's really bad.
God, I haven't seen that. I have not seen
that. Dude. H2O is bad. Man, Resurrection's
a shithole.
That's bad. I forgot she was in that. I just always remember Busta Rhymes.
No, so I like to know that Jamie Lee Curtis got what she wanted in this film. And I'm hoping that they don't bullshit her in any future films. Like, let her be done. She did great. There's no reason for her to come back.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think probably one of the selling points that they used to get her on it was the fact that the major story is going to be how these 3 generation of women actually come together to do the shit at the end. Because the ending was fucking gorgeous. It was masterful. I don't know if I'm skipping ahead in those questions, but I just had to say that. It was really good.
I'll get to it. Don't you worry. I got a few more here.
All right, I'll hold my peace.
All right, so quick one here. Why do you think Michael Myers kills? Do you agree with Loomis and Laurie that he is a pure manifestation of evil, or is he just crazy?
Oh,
Porque no los dos?
I'm with Dr. Loomis. He's a pure manifestation of evil, because look, like, even though it's movies or whatever, like, he always comes back. I mean, he is just that, you know. I mean, I don't know if it makes sense or whatever, but I'm with Dr. Loomis and Laurie, 100%.
Yeah, that's fair. Ryan, anything you want to add to it, or should we go on with the next one?
I think it's both, honestly. I think it's both. I don't think I have too much to add to it, but I think that Michael Myers is a human being that is severely damaged in his head and just thoroughly enjoys ending people's lives. And can he also be a manifestation of evil and just without remorse or any sympathy or anything resembling human emotion? Absolutely. Those are not mutually exclusive. So I say both.
I'm going to go in there and say that I am on the manifestation of evil probably a little bit. I think that Loomis wasn't far off. He may have been a bit dramatic about it, but he was definitely in the right ballpark, I think. Just
that man had reason to be dramatic.
He's
like, it needs to die.
Yeah.
This is pure evil. I want to see it dead, and then I want to see the body burn so I can confirm it.
Man.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was thinking about Dr. Loomis. I wish he could have been in this movie.
Yeah, rest in peace, Donald Pleasant. You were a great actor in those first few films, and I wish that you could have been around more.
Yeah.
I think you'd be proud of this one, though.
Yeah, I do too.
I mean, you got everyone else back from the original movie, and they brought their fucking A game, so I would not be surprised if he would have been all on board for that. Skip ahead here real quick to my next one. What is the best kill in the film, and who was the one person you were hoping would get away? Protagonist excluded, of course.
Best kill in the film is definitely the stomp. I did not see that coming, and he just crushed that guy's skull, man. That was intense. And the one person I was hoping to get away was our friend, the cop. What's his name?
Oh, Hawkins?
Yeah, Hawkins. I mean, Hawkins is my guy. And he didn't get killed by Michael. That's the shitty part. God.
Yeah.
He got killed by Dr. Scratch and Sniff. That was terrible. So
he got killed by a fangirl.
He didn't get killed by Michael. At least if he got killed by Michael, I'd be cool with it, but no.
Yep. Favorite kill. I want to say my favorite kill and the person I was hoping would get away are linked. I would say my favorite kill is that shitty British podcast guy who absolutely deserved to get his fucking face stomped in.
Yeah, you're holding that mask
after
on.
just coming in and stirring up all this shit.
What an idiot.
What a fucking moron. I was so glad to see that his face was just pouring blood out after he just got fucking manhandled by this dude. Who I wish had got away was the female podcaster.
Yeah.
Because she was the one trying to actually be nice. She wanted to get the story. She wanted to do her job, but she also wanted to treat these people with respect.
Yeah. She was ethical.
Yeah.
So I was hoping she'd get away, but I'm like, there's no way. like, guys, they have his mask. They're both dying.
Yeah.
So he can get it.
Yeah.
Like, he's not going to grab it and just leave. Oh, no.
First thing I said when he walked into that bathroom, I'm like, oh, yeah, they're both dead.
Okay, so for my favorite kill, it's actually going to be kind of a tie, because it's two people in one. It's the blonde babysitter and her boyfriend. The nails dragging across the floor and her being like dressed up as a ghost to spook the officer and everything. There was a lot of good set pieces in that particular moment where I'm like, okay, this is pretty solid. This is classic stuff here. They did a good work with this one. And then the boyfriend being stuck in the wall. Everything calling back to that one house.
Yeah.
Everything calling back. It was great. The one I was hoping would get away, again, kind of a twofer. The one that did get away that I was glad that did was the little black kid.
Oh, he was awesome, man.
Because
when they
killed the first kid in the car with the hunting rifle and everything.
Oh, yeah.
I thought, oh man, kid's up for grabs. This is fucking nuts.
Yeah, that's a crazy way to ration up the tension. Be like, no, kids aren't exempt.
Yeah.
If Michael gets his hand on this little boy, he's dead. You're gonna see this little boy die.
And so that's why I thought the black kid was like totally up for grabs. And when he didn't get it, I'm like, okay, woo, that was a close one. But then for the one that didn't get away that I wish had gotten away, I'm gonna go with the kid with the hunting rifle. He was smart. He did everything he was supposed to do.
He was so smart.
Yeah.
Oh.
He just got dealt a shitty hand.
And he tried to shoot the doctor, which would have helped later on.
It really would have.
Yeah, he tried to kill him. He just didn't.
Well, he didn't try. He had the gun out. He was super scared.
Yeah.
The doctor came out and surprised him like a fucking moron and got shot.
Oh, don't shoot me. Well, the kid's super
Don't shoot me. Oops.
Actually, question though. If he had killed the doctor there, would Michael have ever been able to be stopped? Because the car didn't stop him when he was hit. And we'd already know bullets don't necessarily work. They might have, but they usually don't. If Michael had never been taken to Laurie's death chamber, would he have ever actually stopped?
I would argue that he would have died like once he hit him with the car, because remember, the sheriff was planning on getting out and shooting him in the fucking face as soon as they had it. Like, he wasn't like gonna hit him and then be like, okay, he's dead, it's all good. He got out to go finish the job, like he didn't. Like when he stopped Loomis in the original one. He was like, I'm gonna come out I'm gonna fucking kill this guy, and it was the doctor that killed him and stopped him.
Yeah, the sheriff was Hawkins was gonna go gangster and just start blasting him in the face, which I would have been all for. So.
So had the doctor died, yes, I don't think we would have gotten to see the huge Laurie Strode death machine that was her cabin. But yeah, he'd probably be dead right the fuck there.
Fair enough. Okay, next one real quick. The movie is filled with Easter eggs and references to a lot of the other previous films in the franchise and even some other horror films. I already mentioned the masks, of course, from Halloween 3, but did you guys catch any of them, and which ones did you enjoy most, if any?
Robbie, this one's all your question because I didn't.
Yeah. Well, Aaron, as you know, like I mentioned, the granddaughter sitting in the school when she was looking out, and it was Laurie standing there. I thought that was really cool. We kind of talked about it before, but when Michael, throws Laurie off the balcony,
the roof?
And then and then he looks back and she's gone. That's kind of a callback to
pulls on Mike Myers.
Yeah, and then that's like a huge callback. I'm trying to think of some other ones.
Well, I mean, like I mentioned, my favorite kill, the whole guy being stabbed into the wall and the girl covered by a sheet. That's all reference to the old one too.
Yeah,
so.
The ghost covered sheet. That was the callback.
I'll also give props to the reference line drop where isn't he her brother or something like that? I mean, I love that. That was good.
Oh yeah, that was good too.
All right, so we've talked about it a little bit. Let's get to this ending of the movie. So there are two main things I want to ask, but we can also jump into other things as well. Does Michael escape, in your opinion? And two, how do you think that trauma is going to affect Allison as we see her holding the knife at the very end of the film?
I am less inclined to believe that he escaped simply because the place was built by Laurie to be Michael Myers proof. So, if anybody else had built this, I would say, oh yeah, he's fucking gone. And of course, the fact that he's no longer on the stairs when they cut away to the fire for the last time is oh, he could be back. Of course, that's bait. But I would say this is the most believably dead that I have seen Michael Myers. That he literally should be dead because he was trapped in a flaming basement with a flaming house collapsing on top of him. He should be dead.
Should be, yes. I really hope that he is, because I think it would have been a fitting ending that Laurie finally got her revenge. But, they specifically cut back and he's not on the stairs to leave that, shadow of the doubt. And, I've seen enough slasher films to see asinine ways to bring guys back from the dead, Jason getting hit by lightning to bring him back to life and stupid shit like that. So I'm never going to rule it out. I hope he's not.
Well, in comparison to the Friday the 13th, I feel like the Halloween franchise attempts to be a little more grounded. It doesn't always succeed, but I think it attempts to be a little more grounded.
Yeah. Yeah, Jason did go to space. Michael Myers has not been to space. You are correct. And so is Leprechaun. Yeah. He's also been to space. And the Hood.
Oh my god, Jason X. What the fuck? Oh no!
Oh man. Aaron, if you get some downtime, you should watch some of those really, really bad ones. They're pretty entertaining.
Oh, they're so bad.
Absolutely. I actually have been wanting to check out Michael Takes Manhattan.
Oh, that one's actually kind of underrated, I think, personally.
Oh, yeah?
But,
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, none of those are great movies by any means, but you'll have a good time. That's really what it's all about.
They're fun movies.
Yeah,
they're not good.
You're gonna have a good time. You're gonna have a good time.
And then to touch on the last part I mentioned here about Allison. Do you guys think there'll be anything they do with her character in a future film, or do you think that was all just like a tease to kind of make you think it's going to happen with the whole knife zoom in at the very end?
So no lie, if they were to do a sequel, which of course it's fucking Hollywood, it's absolutely plausible. The only thing that I would be okay with is if Allison went fucking insane and picked up where Michael left off. If Allison actually killed Laurie, that would blow my mind.
Yeah.
That would be a good sequel. I would go and see that because that's really interesting. It pays homage to the originator, and it picks up on a brand new thing and takes off on a brand new page. That would be cool. A female Mike Myers. Yes, I would go with that.
I could definitely see that. I think what they were trying to show, and it's kind of what I was talking about earlier, is that it's trying to empower the women. And I think they were trying to show that they, took the killing weapon back from Michael Myers and their family again. I think that's what they're trying to show, but honestly, Ryan, I would not be shocked if it went down that route too. So
I wouldn't be disappointed with either of those.
Yeah,
honestly,
so.
like I'm all for female empowerment,
Yeah.
like them taking the knife back and
Yeah.
like taking his weapon, his power away from him from that. Awesome. I'm 100% down for that. But if they were to make a sequel, that would be the only thing I would accept. Not some fucking, Michael, like 70-year-old Michael Myers somehow escaped from a burning building that Laurie specifically designed to kill him so that he could come back for the sequel. No, I don't like that. But if the killings start happening and all of a sudden you find a white mask in Allison's room, then I'd be like, yes, absolutely, let's see this. What?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
While we're on the subject of female empowerment, though, can we talk about the tag team that these girls did on Michael Myers? Can we talk about that?
Absolutely, yeah. I'm opening the door for any freeform stuff now. If there's anything else I haven't mentioned that you want to add, ending, beginning, middle, any specific moment, go at it, man.
You want to talk about the cheering moments like that you get in the movie. It like because everybody in my theater was reacting the whole time, and it was really fun, and it was fun to be a part of it. But the biggest moment was where it's Laurie's daughter and Allison in the basement, and she's got the rifle, and she's like, I can't do it. Yeah. Mom, where are you? I can't do it. And then Michael steps in the frame, and she instantly turns and says, gotcha. And shoots him in the fucking chest. Everybody lost it. Yeah. Everybody lost it in the film.
Dude, that was a badass moment.
And of course, his father would be in the shadows being like, we got you now, Michael.
Yeah.
Like, all right, let's get them, girls. Let's fuck this dude up. And then all 3 generations of Strode women just beat the shit out of Michael Myers and then set the building on fire.
Yeah.
That was a perfect ending. I was so happy with it.
Do you think that if the daughter and the granddaughter were not there, Laurie would have stayed in there with Michael to make sure it burned up?
Probably.
Yes.
I do too.
Ooh.
I think Laurie would have.
Yeah.
Now, like I had not thought about it until you asked that. Yeah. Yes, I absolutely believe that.
That was my first thought when they walked out. I was like, I think she wanted to stay in there and die with him.
I very much believe her obsession would have made her stay in there. Not because she wanted to die, but because she wanted to make sure he was dead. And I don't think there's any way around that.
Yep.
And it would have spoken to the doctor's earlier point about Michael and Laurie, how they were locked in this eternal cycle of predator and prey, and it has defined both of their lives. And he doesn't think that they can actually survive without each other. So that would have been a fitting end, a fitting cap to that whole theory where it's like, Laurie literally has no life outside of preparing for this night. So, of course, she's just going to stand there and look at him and watch him die as their entire world collapses around them. Of course she would have.
Yeah, that's what I thought, too.
Well, I'll do a quick mailbag shout-out. If anyone wants to leave comments or your opinions on Halloween or any other upcoming movies, by the time this comes out, we'll be recording Shyamalan movies. So please send us your thoughts on any Shyamalan movie coming up, because we have plenty of them. But I've actually changed up the schedule a little bit to take out 3 movies that we were going to do and put in 3 more Shyamalan movies. Ryan, you might appreciate that a little bit. And then while we're doing those, we'll be doing some DC films coming up for recording. So please comment for those as well. And of course, you could go to Facebook, our Steam page. Ryan, we also have an email. What is that email?
That is don'tbeadickpodcaster@gmail.com. I'm sorry, excuse me. That is evacstation@gmail.com.
Right here, folks, evacstation@gmail.com. And we're going to get into our second last segment here. I'm going to try to keep it real quick. Horror at the box office trivia. Robbie, I don't know if you've kept up with the most recent episodes, but what I do is I give you boys a year, and your goal is to tell me the top grossing horror film of that year.
All right.
I suck at this game.
I will give you reference
So
points.
bad.
I'll give you reference points to tell you what other movies came out in that year, but I will only
helpful.
tell you the non-horror movies. You have to try to figure out based on that. For your first year, gentlemen, 2016 is very fresh, very new. Can you guys figure it out? I'll give you your top 3 of the year total, not horror. Your number 1 was Rogue One, 2 is Finding Dory, and 3 is Civil War. So you got your little time reference there. Top horror movie of that year.
Wait, Civil War, did you say?
Yep.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, that was 2016. You said 2016, right?
Yep.
Okay.
And for a frame of reference, the movie that we're looking at today is number 28 of that year.
Yeah, I didn't figure a horror was in the top 10. Do we both guess or what?
Yep.
I
Yep.
can't remember. Okay. I'm gonna say like one of those movies in that franchise, like Annabelle, maybe. Is that year? That might be too new.
Is that the one you want to go with?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with that one.
All right, I got Annabelle on the board. Ryan, what is your guess?
This game. I am going to go with one of the Paranormal Activities, probably like 3.
All right.
Oh,
Well,
yeah, that could be good.
Both of you are off the mark. Robbie is close, though. It is Conjuring 2 at 102 million.
Ah.
I was in the right. They're all in the same like universe or whatever, right?
Are they?
Yep, they're expanding that universe, too. They had none come out this year, and I think they have Annabelle 3 coming out
3
next
or
year.
some shit. Yeah, damn it. I was
Holy
close.
shit! I didn't know they were all connected. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's like their whole thing. Yeah.
All right, your next year is 2005.
Ooh.
I think one of y'all will get this one. I have my money on Ryan. I feel like this is Ryan's pick here. I think he's got it.
2005. What are the reference points?
Yep. I'm going to switch over to that page real quick and read them out here. Your number
Fantastic
1.
Four.
God, I feel old reading this one. Revenge of the Sith, Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, and Batman Begins.
Oh man.
Yo!
Don't
Dude,
you
I
feel
went
old?
Batman Begins.
I went to Batman Begins the night it came out. That gets me jacked up.
Oh,
You guys
man,
feel old
Liam
yet?
Neeson as Rachel Gould. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Wrong movie. We're in the wrong genre there. Okay. Let's see. 2005.
I know I feel old.
Oh. It's got to be like a Saw movie. Was it the original Saw? Saw?
Is that the one you want to go with?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with that one. It might have been earlier than that. Shit, I'm gonna be wrong. I know I'm gonna be wrong.
2005? Shit, I was 15. It probably is Saw, actually. He's probably right on the money. I'm going to... Fuck, what else came out? What else came out at that point? Damn, I've got nothing. I'm going to also say Saw, and if it's right, then Robbie absolutely gets the point, but I think it is that.
You gentlemen are so damn close.
Oh my
It's
god,
Saw
it's
2.
like Saw 2. It's Saw 2!
It is Saw 2, damn it.
I was
knew it was
honestly
pretty
hoping
close.
Ryan would be like, okay, Saw 2. It's Saw 2. I think I'd one up, be like, Price is Right.
I couldn't.
All right.
God, wait, that's right. Like they did a Saw movie every fucking year for a while, didn't they?
Was the original Saw?
Because
years,
I knew the original Saw came out when I was in high school.
Was the original Saw 2004?
I think Saw 2004, and then every year a new one came out, and then I think it was literally right after Saw stopped being in theaters, Paranormal Activity started coming out, and that was 4 years ago.
Yeah, that's right. Saw one. I thought I had that one.
You guys are so close.
Right yeah.
All right, your next year, 1995.
Oh man.
95. Oh my god.
I'm gonna look up the year while you guys are deliberating. For 1995, ooh, this is a good year. Toy Story, Batman Forever, and Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls.
Oh, that's a great movie. I don't care what you guys say.
Wait.
Oh, and Ryan, this will speak out to you. Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Wait, I'm sorry. So are you telling me that Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls came out in the same year as he played the Riddler in fucking Batman?
Yeah, he was on top of the world, bro.
Yes.
God damn, Jim Carrey was running it.
95 was the year of Carrey.
Jim Carrey was running it. Oh my god.
So I loved Jim Carrey, and the year before is when he made The Mask, and what else came out in 94? He was on a tear for like 4 years straight. Like, Dumb and Dumber, Mask, all that shit.
He's back to like the World on Fire next year as Sonic the fucking Hedgehog's enemy, Dr. Robotnik.
Yeah, he's gonna be Robotnik, isn't he?
Yep.
That's nuts.
God, that'll be awful.
Yeah, I don't know what to expect from that movie. Okay, so let's see. 95.
95.
Was that Scream?
I have Scream on the board. Is that what you want to go with?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Scream. That screams mid-90s to me. So.
Okay, I got one for Scream. Ryan, what do you got?
Robbie is infinitely better at this game than I am.
He's a top contender in this. I think Nicole gave him a good run for his money, but he's a top contender.
Yeah.
God damn. All right, well, I learned my lesson from the Saw movie, so I'm going to go with Scream 2.
The answer, gentlemen, is Tales from the Crypt, Demon Knight.
No!
Shut
my
up.
god, with Billy Zane! No! I remember that movie!
At 21 million. 21 million.
Shut up.
Not a high number.
How far was I off? Scream was definitely mid-90s.
Scream was like 97, I think.
I think Scream is 97. I can double check
No,
here
but
real quick.
96. Damn it! I was so close. I just looked it up. Shit. I've been one year off with all this stuff. God.
You've been pretty solid though. Your next year is 88.
Ooh, 88.
For your frame of reference, your top movies of the year include Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Oh, great flick.
Classic.
Crocodile Dundee 2.
Ooh, the sequel.
And Die Hard.
Oh,
Yay.
Die Hard. Can we just talk about Die Hard instead of answering this question? Because that would make me happy.
Oh man, no, you missed the Die Hard podcast.
I did. That was great. Yeah, I just want to talk about it again. That's okay. 88. Let's see. Oh, it's gotta be like one of the Nightmare on Elm Streets or some shit.
I'm gonna go with one of the Friday the 13th.
I'm gonna go
98.
Let's see. Nightmare on Elm Street, I know came out in 84 because it was Johnny Depp's first movie. Believe it or not.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Trivia for you.
It was. Shit.
Yeah. So I'm going to go with Nightmare on Elm Street 3, which I believe is the Dreamcatcher.
Wow, this dude's hitting me with the fucking subs, with the subtext.
I think it's the Dreamcatcher.
Right.
I haven't looked.
Oh, well. It's obviously Nightmare on Elm Street 3, the Dreamcatcher. Like, the fucking Dreamcatcher. I'm like, dude. Dude, Dream Warriors is like number 4 or 5. I can't remember which one it is. You're right, Dream Warriors was 4. I'm pretty sure Dream Warriors. Good lord.
Ryan, do you want to up the ante? Do you want to up the ante and pick a specific movie, or do you want to go with what you got?
No, I know when I'm overreaching. I'm just gonna say it's one of the Friday the 13th. For like a half
answer,
upgrade if I hit it.
Nightmare on Elm Street 4
Damn it.
Dream Master.
God damn
close
it,
you guys
Robbie,
are
you
getting.
win. You just win, alright? Shit.
Damn it.
All right, I have one more year, and then we'll call it good here. The year is
my
1977.
Oh, shit.
Oh man, you really
Your
go
top
back.
movies for this year include Star Wars,
Oh,
Close
yeah.
Encounters of a Third Kind,
Oh man.
and The Deep.
The Deep.
I'm gonna go with Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Ooh, that's a good call. I'm
That's a good pick.
gonna go with The Hills Have Eyes.
All right,
shit,
I got
really?
two very different picks. The answer is Exorcist 2,
Damn it.
The
God damn it.
Heretic.
It's never Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That's always my Hail Mary.
I think I purposely picked different years from that one just to throw you off.
Yeah, well, you've succeeded, Aaron. Congratulations.
But
Well, I'm going to give the win to Robbie because he's been the closest the most in this entire episode.
hey,
I am not going to argue that. That is really impressive, sir.
can we look up when The Hills Have Eyes? I'm pretty sure it's really close.
Yeah, I can look that up real quick. Here we go, the original one. That one made $25 million at the box office.
Oh
Very close. It's very close.
man, that was close though.
Very
Well
close.
done, sir. Well done.
Yeah, that was
I'll have
fun.
to do this trivia again with Robbie because he's really impressive at this.
I have to start studying trivia for these fucking podcasts now, guys.
Well, as Station knows, I know just random shit that doesn't make any sense. So
All right, we've gone on a lot longer than most of our other Halloween podcasts. We're going to get to a quick wrap-up with
sorry.
rating the film. Normally we do a rating of gold, silver, bronze, but for the Halloween movies, and this is the final one of the Halloween movies we're discussing for the year, we have a simple system of bucket or fuck it, where we either like it in the bucket or we say fuck it. So guys, what are we ranking this one at? Are we bucketing this one or fucking this one?
Oh, this is absolutely horrible. I mean, fuck it, obviously. Fucking lying to you. This is I saw a man's head get stomped into oblivion. Yes, no, we're putting it in the bucket of blood.
absolutely bucketing it.
I will third that. Bucket it all the way. So you hear folks, if you have not seen Halloween, the new one, go check it out. And if you can, check out the original. It is also really good and also fills in some gaps you might want to know about this one. Not necessary, but it's still good checking it out. It's a classic.
Yeah, that's good.
Anything else we need to mention before we get out, guys?
No, man, but once again, Robbie, thank you so much for joining us. It's always a blast when you come over here and talk about geeky shit with us. So, man, thank you.
Oh yeah, man. I thoroughly enjoy this stuff, and I can't wait until we do. Is the next one I'm on, Aaron, the Aquaman podcast?
Yes.
Yeah.
The next one I have you scheduled for will be Aquaman.
Yes. Can't wait.
But so for frame of reference to those listening, if this stays in, that'll be towards the end of the DC season. We're just recording early to catch up with the movie when it first comes out.
Yep.
But there'll be plenty of other DC movies we'll probably have you on before that comes out.
Absolutely. I'm a DC fiend.
This, of course, means that I will actually have to watch Justice League, I suppose.
Hey.
Yeah.
Some of us have
Well,
already
hey,
watched
Ryan. We get to watch a good cartoon movie with it.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, it'll be like eating my vegetables at dinner. I have to swallow this so I can get my dessert.
That's right. That's right, man.
I want to thank all the guests that came on this Halloween season: Nicole, Robbie, Troy, and Bo. Every one of you guys was great. Ryan, you were great too. Actually, you were great.
I'm just a guest who has overstayed his welcome for 3 years now.
So thanks to everybody who participated. Thanks to everyone listening. And special shout out to anyone who has been listening. Please leave comments down below, rate and subscribe, and share this with your friends. It's the best way to help us get noticed by other viewers other than yourself. I think that covers everything. So tune in next week. We're back to our normal schedule with just one episode of Studio Ghibli every week. And then in December, we have some holiday specials for then. I'm not going to spoil what they are because you'll have fun finding out. But we'll see you. We'll see you next time, and we'll see you at the credits.
Bye.
Faces full of slime. Don't you know it's terror time? And it's terror time again. They've got you running through the night. Yes, it's terror time again. Oh, you just might die of fright. It's a terrifying time.
Is Robbie still there?
I don't think I can think of any other ones off the top of my head.
Is anyone still there? No, I think I got disconnected.
Oh man.
Hello?
Yeah, did we lose him?
Aaron
Oh,
might
my
be
internet's
dead.
down.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Is Aaron dead?
We lost him. Uh-oh.
I thought since we weren't being disrespectful like those fucking podcasters, we'd be safe.
Oh shit.
Aaron, come back!
Oh man.
We'll have to
Die.
get this in post.
We were so close to the end too.
Aaron!
I think he's dead.
Try messaging him on Facebook, yeah?
Here, let me grab that. Aaron, where are you?
His internet died.
Or he died.
And his ghost is typing that his internet died.
Yep. Oh shit.
So my modem literally just stopped
It's like,
working.
and stop.
Yeah.
Like I look at my little internet icon and it's like, okay, well your wireless is still got a thing, and I'm like, okay, well what else is wrong? And I look over to my modem and it's off, and I'm like, oh, now you're off. Okay.
You got
So sorry about the delay there.
you got stabbed by Michael.